Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to Midnight Affairs Tales. We appreciate every single one of you. We'd love to know what part of the world you are watching from right now. Let us know in the comments. Now, let's dive into today's story, Chapter 1. Tyler Brooks stepped into his own house like a stranger walking into someone else's life. The desert heat of Fallujah was still in his lungs, but suburban North Carolina felt colder than a sniper's breath. His boots landed heavy on polished hardwood. Quiet. Too quiet. He glanced at the clock above the fireplace. 3:47 p.m. Jessica always picked up Lily from school by 3 o'clock. They should be home. Then a sound. A giggle. High-pitched. Childlike. Familiar, but off. It came from upstairs. Tyler moved slow. Trained. Silent. Not out of fear, but habit. The kind that saved your life out there. As he ascended the staircase, he caught the scent of vanilla lotion, Jessica's brand, but layered with something new. Cologne. Male. Sharp. At the top of the stairs, his daughter's bedroom door was cracked open. Light spilled out, along with the soft sound of a man's voice, low and smooth. His heart did not pound. Not yet. He opened the door. There was Lily, sitting cross-legged on the carpet, crayon in hand. She looked up and beamed. "Daddy!" She rushed into his arms, crayon scattering behind her. But Tyler's eyes were on the man sitting next to her. A face too familiar. Pastor Brent. Their neighbor. Family friend. Church leader. Brent stood fast, smiling awkwardly. "Tyler. Did not know you were back. Just dropped by to, drop off some books Jessica borrowed." Tyler's grip on Lily tightened slightly. "Where's Jess?" he asked. Brent shifted. "Shower, I think." "Of course." Lily pulled on his sleeve. "Daddy, Pastor Brent gave me candy. But Mommy said not to tell." Tyler's gaze sharpened. Brent laughed nervously. "Just a mint. Nothing weird." Tyler forced a nod. "Thanks. You can go now." Brent left. Quickly. Tyler stood in Lily's room, holding her, mind racing. A sound did not belong. A man did not belong. And for the first time in his life, he wished he was wrong. But what if he was not? Wait. If this story gave you chills or made you think twice about trust, don't just scroll away. Hit that like button to support the channel, and subscribe if you never want to miss another jaw-dropping tale. We drop new stories every week that'll leave you speechless. To everyone who's already subscribed, sending you heartfelt love and thanks. Join the family, because here, every story hits different. Now, let's dive back into the story. Tyler waited until the house slept. Lily was tucked in. Jessica lay in bed beside him, her back turned, the same way it had been for months. She smelled like soap, not the usual lavender. Her phone buzzed once before she silenced it. She thought he was asleep. He was not. At 1:12 a.m., she got up. Quiet. Too quiet. He heard the bathroom door close. Then, soft whispers. Tyler slipped out of bed, moved like he had in Kabul, in darkness, guided by instinct. He pressed his ear to the door. Her voice was muffled but urgent. "I cannot talk now." "No, he is back. Just stay calm. He does not know." He stepped back, barely breathing. By the time she opened the door, he was in bed, still and steady. In the morning, Jessica smiled too hard. "Want pancakes?" Tyler nodded. "Sure. You always made them better than Chow Hall eggs." He watched her move through the kitchen, too cheerful, too perfect. She had always been good at performance. It was part of what made him fall for her. Now it just made him sick. While she showered again, Tyler searched. Not just her phone, she had a decoy. He knew it. Most people did not hide lies on their main device. He checked the closet. Her old purse. Back pocket, zipped. Bingo. An older iPhone, low battery, no password. Sloppy. Desperate. Messages. Church supplies. He cannot find out. "She called me daddy again yesterday." "Jessica, I know. I feel awful. But you are her real father." Tyler will never know. The phone buzzed again. Another message. Same contact. "Church supplies. DNA tests do not lie. It is only a matter of time." Tyler's hand closed around the phone. Tight. His breathing slowed. Controlled. Target acquired. He did not rage. He did not scream. He planned. Tyler made an appointment that day at a private clinic under a friend's name. No paper trail. The nurse asked questions. He just stared until she stopped. They swabbed his cheek. He gave them Lily's hairbrush. Paternity? The nurse asked. He nodded once. 3 days later, he got the results in a sealed envelope. He drove to an empty overlook above the lake, the same spot he had taken Jessica to propose. The same place he once said, "I want to raise a family here." He tore the envelope open. Probability of paternity, 0%. The world did not spin. It froze. He sat in the silence. No gunfire. No sirens. Just the quiet of betrayal. His phone rang. Jessica. He answered. Hey, babe. Can you pick up milk? His voice was flat. Sure. He hung up. Then he placed the folder in the glove box, next to an old Marine badge. He looked at the lake. Still. Peaceful. But Tyler Brooks had just died at that lake. And someone else, someone colder, just took his place. Jessica noticed something was different, but she said nothing. She never asked why Tyler's eyes no longer followed her around the room. She never asked why he stopped touching her, why the tension in his shoulders never left. She never asked, because deep down, she already knew. Tyler played along. He smiled. He ate her meals. He picked Lily up from school. He tucked her in, read the bedtime stories like always. But behind that calm mask, the sniper was calculating. He began logging Jessica's daily routine, like an op. He knew her morning shower took exactly 8 minutes. Her phone call spiked between 11 a.m. and noon. She always wore extra makeup on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Every detail was noted. Every move memorized. He was not just leaving her. He was going to take everything that mattered on the way out. That night, over dinner, Lily told a story about Pastor Brent. Mommy said Pastor Brent was going to teach me to ride a bike. Tyler looked up. Did he teach you already? Jessica froze. The fork paused halfway to her mouth. No, she said. Not yet. Lily nodded. But he said I looked just like him. Tyler's jaw tightened. Jessica let out a laugh too loud, too fast. He is just being silly. Brent jokes with all the kids. Tyler smiled. That night, he stepped into the garage and opened the old army locker. Inside was a locked metal case. He clicked it open. Documents. Logs. A spare USB drive. And one envelope with a typed note. In case of betrayal, complete this checklist. He had written it years ago, not because he expected it, but because men like Tyler prepared for what other people pretended would never happen. And now, he was checking the first box. On Friday morning, Tyler followed Brent. He told Jessica he was going to the VA clinic. Instead, he parked 3 blocks down from Brent's church and waited. The air was heavy with humidity, the kind that made sweat feel like a second skin. Brent came out around noon, pressed khakis, collared shirt, and a fake holy smile. Tyler tailed him at a distance. Not too close. He had done this before, in villages where men vanished overnight. Here, it was simpler. Cleaner. Brent stopped at a gas station, then a flower shop, then pulled into the parking lot of a budget motel. Room 213. Tyler waited 15 minutes, watched as a woman in her 20s knocked on the door and was let in without hesitation. She was not Jessica. Tyler snapped a photo. Clear angle. Faces visible. He was not looking for drama. He was building leverage. By the time Brent left 2 hours later, Tyler had photos, video, timelines. Enough for questions. That night, he watched Jessica cook dinner like nothing had ever happened. Lily danced around in pajamas, talking about school. Brent said he is going to bring cupcakes to my class, she said. Jessica smiled, avoiding Tyler's eyes. Is that not sweet? She asked. Tyler placed his phone on the table. Pressed play. The audio started. Brent's voice. You smell better than my wife. The girl's laugh followed. Jessica dropped the spatula. Lily looked up, confused. Tyler paused the audio. His voice was low. Do not lie again. I am giving you one shot to tell me everything. Jessica's face crumpled. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Lily spoke instead. Why are you mad at Mommy? Tyler's eyes stayed on Jessica. Answer her. Jessica finally spoke, and every word she said only made it worse. It happened once. Maybe twice. Okay, it lasted a year. But it was before you came back. I was alone, Tyler. I was drowning. She cried. Not wept. Cried carefully. Her mascara did not run. Her voice stayed smooth. This is not what you think. Brent and I were, God, it was stupid. But I never meant for it to go that far. Tyler did not move. Did not blink. And Lily, he asked. Jessica swallowed. He does not know? I never told him. I thought you would be a better father. He nodded slowly. You decided for me. I thought it would protect you. Tyler leaned forward. You stole 7 years of truth from me. Do you understand that? Her voice cracked. I was scared. I knew you would leave. You were right. She tried to reach for his hand. He pulled away. I am filing tomorrow, he said. Divorce. Paternity disestablishment. Custody gone. Jessica panicked. You cannot take her from me. I am not taking her. I am leaving you with what you gave me. Nothing. She broke then. The sobs were real this time. But Tyler was already walking upstairs. He entered Lily's room. She looked up from her coloring book. Daddy, are we going somewhere? He kneeled beside her. Smiled softly. Not yet, sweetheart. But soon. He held her small hand in his and looked at her face. The one that no longer resembled his. And yet, it still hurt how much he loved her. Outside the room, Jessica sobbed on the floor. But Tyler had made his decision. From here on out, only the truth survives. The law office smelled like paper, old leather, and something clinical, like the air had been scrubbed of emotion. Tyler sat across from Miriam Clark, a divorce attorney known for two things, winning and making it hurt. She flipped through his documents in silence, medical records, financials, screenshots, the DNA test. When she finally looked up, her voice was calm but clipped. She lied about your daughter for 7 years. He nodded once. And the biological father is. He slid the photo across the desk. Brent, arm around the younger woman outside the motel. She raised an eyebrow. Pastor. Tyler remained silent. Miriam leaned back. You have a case for divorce, paternity disestablishment, and if you want, civil fraud. I want custody out of her hands, Tyler said. She does not get to call herself mother and weaponize it. Miriam narrowed her eyes. Are you ready for what that means? No joint visits. No co-parenting. This will go nuclear. Tyler exhaled slowly. She fired the first shot. Miriam smirked faintly. I like you already. She handed him a folder. Sign these. I will file by morning. You want her served at home or work? Home. Miriam scribbled a note. And Tyler, one more thing. Do not let her manipulate Lily during this. Keep it clean around the kid. He nodded. Lily is the only thing that still feels real. As he stood to leave, Miriam added, just remember, judges do not care about emotions. They care about evidence. But this, she tapped the DNA report, is the kind of truth that sticks. Tyler left the office with a single thought echoing in his mind. She lied. He lost a daughter. But she was about to lose everything. Jessica sat on the couch, scrolling through her phone with fingers that trembled too much to type. Tyler had been quiet all week. No shouting. No slamming doors. Just silence. She hated it more than yelling. When the doorbell rang, she opened it without thinking. A woman stood outside, mid-40s, dark suit, calm expression. Jessica Brooks? Yes. You have been served. The woman handed her a packet. Thick. Official. Jessica stood frozen in the doorway as the woman walked back to her car. She opened the packet. Her hands shook as she read. Divorce petition paternity disavowal emergency custody review no. She whispered. No, no, no. Lily came down the stairs, rubbing her eyes. Mommy? Why are you crying? Jessica wiped her face. It is nothing, baby. Just some papers. Lily frowned. Is Daddy mad at you? Jessica knelt. No, sweetheart. Daddy is just confused right now. That night, Jessica tried to talk to Tyler in the kitchen. He was drying dishes, methodical, focused. You are really doing this? She asked. He nodded once. You would throw away everything? He turned to her. You already did. I am just cleaning up the mess. You are not her father, she snapped. Not legally. Not biologically. He paused. You are right. But I was the one who stayed up all night when she had the flu. I taught her to swim. I read her stories when you were too tired. And I never lied to her. Jessica's lip quivered. You cannot take her away from me. I am not. You already did that yourself. He walked past her, slow and sure. Jessica stood alone in the kitchen, holding the petition like it was a death certificate. Because in a way, it was. The next day, Tyler sat across the street from the church, engine off, watching. He was not here to forgive. He was not here to pray. He was watching Brent. The church parking lot was half empty. It used to be full on Saturdays. Now, a few scattered cars and an echo of what once was. Brent exited the back door, walking with his usual fake confidence. Sunglasses, collar, fake humility in his stride. But Tyler saw the cracks. He followed from a distance. Brent met with someone, another man, mid-40s, gray jacket. They spoke quickly, too close. Tyler zoomed in with a long lens. He caught it, a handshake, then a flash of an envelope. Money. Deals behind God's back. That night, Tyler sent the motel photos and new surveillance to an anonymous tip line. Then he wrote a letter to the board of the church. No name, no return address. Inside were dates, times, photos, and one simple sentence. If this is who leads your faith, what does that say about you? By Sunday morning, murmurs had started. Tyler stayed far from the pulpit. He had no interest in sermons. But he watched as Brent's kingdom began to crack. Jessica had chosen a man with secrets. Now those secrets were about to collapse on her too. Because Tyler was not just divorcing a liar. He was taking down the entire web that protected her lie. One piece at a time. Church had always been Jessica's safe place. She smiled for the congregation, greeted parents, hugged old women, played the part. But this Sunday, the air was different. Whispers followed her into the chapel. Glances, too long, too knowing. Two women she had known for years turned away without speaking. Jessica sat in the fourth pew, heart hammering behind her ribs. When Brent walked in, something in the room shifted. Quiet. Suspicious. A few parishioners did not stand for the opening hymn. By the time he began the sermon, there was visible space in the pews. People had left. Tyler watched from across the street, parked under the shade of an elm. Not spying. Observing. He had already delivered the next blow. Anonymous emails. Screenshots. Audio. Financial records. He had done it quietly, like a sniper would. Across town, at her sister's home, Lily played with her cousin. Laughing, painting. A child untouched by war. Tyler checked the time. He had made arrangements with Miriam. Jessica's school board would receive its own envelope Monday morning. The dominoes were falling. By noon, church elders walked into the sermon, mid-sentence, and took Brent aside. Jessica stood frozen as the congregation murmured. Someone leaned close behind her. You should leave before it gets worse. She turned, stunned, but the woman was already walking away. Brent did not return to the pulpit that morning, and neither did she. Jessica drove home, shaking, breath catching in her throat. She had lied, and the silence coming for her now was justice. Monday morning, Tyler arrived at the courthouse in uniform. Not his marine dress blues, those were folded in storage, but a clean shirt, solid tie, pressed slacks. Neat, reliable, present. Jessica arrived late. Hair still wet, eyes red. She wore a pale blue blouse, but her confidence was missing. The judge looked down at the folder before him. Mr. Brooks, you are requesting custody despite not being the biological father? Yes, Your Honor, Tyler answered, voice even. I raised Lily. I supported her. Her mother withheld the truth from both of us. Jessica's lawyer interjected. Biology matters in custody. Tyler placed a small flash drive on the table. May I submit evidence? The judge nodded. Footage played on the screen. Lily's voice, recorded during a weekend at Tyler's sister's house. She spoke softly, coloring with crayons. He reads to me every night, even when he is tired. He is my real dad. Even if he is not. Jessica gasped. The courtroom went still. Tyler did not look at her. The judge removed his glasses. There is no doubt emotional bonding exists. I will approve temporary guardianship to Mr. Brooks, pending full review. Jessica stood up. You cannot do this. The judge glanced up. You already did. As Tyler walked out of the courtroom, papers in hand, he passed Jessica in the hallway. She reached for his arm. Please. I am still her mother. He looked at her hand, then at her. You stopped being that the moment you turned her into a lie. Then he kept walking. That night, Tyler pulled a box from the back of the hallway closet. Old photos, DVDs, birth announcements. He sat at the kitchen table, flipping pages. Jessica had made these albums. Decorative corners, perfect captions. Lily's first steps. But Tyler remembered those days. He had been gone on assignment. So how was he in the photo? He looked closer. His face was cropped in, photoshopped into moments he had never lived. He picked up another, Lily's first birthday. The background looked off. The lighting on him did not match the room. She had forged memories, not just in words, but in pictures. He found one more, buried under the rest, a sonogram, dated 2 months before he returned from deployment. He was not even in the country. He stared at it for a long time. Jessica had not just cheated. She had crafted an entire false narrative. Images, dates, a story rewritten. He stood, numb, took the album outside, and tossed it into the backyard fire pit. Lit a match. Watched 7 years of make-believe curl into black ash. He was not erasing Lily. He was erasing the lie. Because from now on, only truth would be allowed to stay. Jessica's phone rang 7 times before she finally picked up. Hello. Her voice was shaky, barely holding together. Mrs. Brooks, the voice said, cold and professional. This is the Office of Academic Review. We have received anonymous documentation regarding fabricated insurance claims and unauthorized PTO during your employment. You are being placed under immediate investigation. Jessica's mouth went dry. I do not understand. You will be notified of your suspension by end of day. Click. She stood in the middle of the kitchen, holding the dead phone like it had betrayed her. Again, she stumbled to the couch and buried her face in her hands. The walls were closing in. Her career, her second chance at being respected, was crumbling. A knock at the door startled her. She opened it to find a small box. Inside, a flash drive, and a note typed in clean black font. This is what you built your life on. Lies. She did not need to plug it in. She knew exactly what it contained. Tyler was not done. Not even close. Upstairs, Lily's room sat empty. Her clothes still folded, untouched for days. Jessica stepped inside and sat on the edge of the bed. The silence was louder than any punishment. She had lied for love, lied for fear, lied for comfort. Now all she had left was the echo of her choices. And for the first time, even she was starting to believe she deserved what was coming. 2 weeks later, Tyler walked into family court with nothing in his hands except a thin file and a calm look. Jessica's lawyer was aggressive, loud, spinning words to make her look like a mother desperate to hold her family together. But desperation does not erase deception. Tyler said little. Let his lawyer present everything. Sworn statements, DNA results, timeline mismatches, school fraud, church scandal. Then came the video. Lily, sitting on Tyler's lap, laughing softly. I feel safe with him. Like when I was little and the thunder was scary and he sat on my bed all night. The courtroom went still. Jessica looked away, hiding tears, but not shame. The judge leaned forward. Do you wish to respond, Mrs. Brooks? Jessica stood. I made mistakes, but Lily is still my daughter. I carried her. I raised her. Tyler finally spoke. You carried her. I raised her. He turned toward the judge. All I am asking for is to protect the only real thing that came out of a decade of lies. The judge took a long breath. Final custody ruling to be determined in 60 days. Until then, Lily will remain under temporary guardianship of Mr. Brooks. Court adjourned. Jessica collapsed into her chair, head in her hands. Tyler walked out. No smile. No anger. Just focus. This was not over. But it was getting close. Pastor Brent stood behind the pulpit with trembling hands. Fewer than 10 people sat in the pews. He cleared his throat, flipped his Bible open, but the words stuck. No one believed him anymore. Earlier that week, the board had suspended him from leadership pending investigation into moral and financial misconduct. He called Jessica for help. She did not answer. He called the church office. They asked for his keys. Then came the letter. No name. No signature. Inside were 2 photos, Brent handing over a cash-stuffed envelope. Another of him entering the motel with the young woman. The caption below, "And you said I was the sinner." Brent shredded the letter. But the damage was done. Local forums lit up. A reporter called his wife. A reporter showed up at the church. He left through the back. Meanwhile, Tyler watched the headlines grow. Community pastor under investigation. Infidelity, fraud allegations shakes small-town church. Inside the double life of Pastor Brent and his unholy secrets, Tyler did not celebrate. There was nothing to smile about. But justice? Justice was not about smiling. It was about watching a man who helped shatter your world watch his own world go up in flames. And this was just phase 1. Tyler sat on the edge of the couch, arms resting on his knees, watching Lily draw on the floor with a set of colored pencils. She hummed softly, tongue slightly out as she focused. It reminded him of the way Jessica used to hum when she cooked, before the lie turned everything bitter. He could feel the court date coming like a storm on the horizon. Lily looked up. "Daddy." He turned. "Yeah, baby." She hesitated, then asked, "Am I bad?" The question hit him like a sniper's round straight to the chest. He blinked. "What?" Lily looked down. "Because you and Mommy are fighting. And now I do not live at home anymore." He knelt down and pulled her close. "Hey, look at me." She did. "You are not bad. None of this is your fault. Grown-ups make mistakes. Grown-ups lie. But you are the best part of my life." She leaned into him, voice barely a whisper. "Even if I am not really yours." His throat tightened, but he did not let it show. "You are mine. Always. I do not care what any test says." Lily nodded and hugged him tighter. Tyler held her, the weight of the moment sinking deep into his bones. This was not about revenge anymore. Not just about exposing liars. This was about making sure Lily never again had to question who loved her for real. And he would protect that with everything he had left. Jessica stood in front of the bathroom mirror, fingers gripping the edge of the sink. The woman staring back looked tired. Washed out. Older than she remembered. She tried her makeup again. Different foundation. Softer eyeshadow. Nothing helped. Her phone buzzed. School board email. Another, pending investigation update. Her teaching license was under review now. The walls were closing in. She reached for her old photo album, flipping through the pages fast, like she was chasing a version of herself she could no longer find. Her wedding photos. Smiling with Tyler under a chapel arch. She had not looked at those in years. Maybe she had never really looked at them at all. The guilt clawed at her. Not just the affair. Not just the lies. It was how easily she had let it all happen. How she let Brent charm her with sermons and soft touches while Tyler bled in a country she could not even pronounce. She called Brent. Straight to voicemail. She called his wife. Disconnected. She was alone. And now, in that bathroom, mascara smudged and truth echoing in every reflection, Jessica finally saw herself clearly. She had destroyed the one man who never walked away. And now, no one was coming to save her from it. Tyler met with Miriam at the law office. Rain tapped the windows like quiet drumbeats. He was calm, but his eyes stayed cold. Miriam handed him a new folder. "You asked for every school record, daycare check-in, hospital log, everything since Lily was born. I got it." He opened the file. One page stood out. A pediatric clinic receipt. Date: 2 weeks after Lily's birth. Patient: Lily Grace Whitaker. Mother: Jessica Whitaker. Father: Brent Whitaker. He froze. "Brent's name is listed." Miriam nodded. "She must have switched it before you came back. It never got corrected." Paper trail is messy, but it is there. Tyler stared at the document. She used me to raise another man's daughter, but on paper, he was always her father? It is leverage, Miriam said. Powerful leverage, especially in court. Tyler closed the folder slowly. She built a perfect lie, years of it, but now the paperwork is going to bury her. Miriam smirked. You always said this was a sniper's game. Long wait. One clean shot. Tyler stood up. This is the shot. As he walked out into the rain, folder in hand, Tyler felt no thrill, no anger, just clarity. Because this was not just revenge anymore. This was justice, delivered with precision. And it was far from over. By Tuesday morning, the town was no longer whispering. It was talking loudly. Tyler passed the local diner and saw heads turning through the glass. He was not hiding. He had no reason to. His head was up, calm, controlled. Inside, Jessica sat 2 booths down from the window. Alone. No coffee in front of her. No phone out. Just silence. The waitress walked by her without stopping. Tyler caught the flash of her face as he walked past. Pale, withdrawn, lips pressed together like she was holding something broken inside. Back at the house, the mailbox was stuffed with official letters. Tyler sifted through them. One from the church, another from the Department of Child Services. He had filed no report with them, but someone had. He opened it. Notice of Child Welfare Review, filed anonymously. He knew who it was. Jessica was losing grip. She was clawing now. He picked up the phone and called Miriam. She is trying to shift the court's view, making it look like I am the dangerous one. Miriam's voice was calm as ever. Expected. Desperate people throw dirt. We are cleaner. We have proof. And Lily? Tyler asked. She stays where she is. Unless someone walks through your door with a warrant, you do not flinch. Let her drown in the noise. Tyler hung up. Outside, the town kept moving. Kids biked down the street. A neighbor waved. He nodded back. Quietly. Jessica had chosen to burn everything down, but he was going to make sure she was the only one left in the smoke. That night, after Lily went to sleep, Tyler opened the basement. It was not a place he liked going. The cement floor smelled like damp earth and old insulation. But in the far corner, beneath an old tarp and some rusted tools, was a green metal case. One he had locked up 10 years ago. It was filled with pieces of his old life, dog tags, discharge forms, deployment letters, and one worn notebook with a cracked spine. Inside were entries he barely remembered writing. March 14th, she says she wants a baby. May 2nd, she picked out names already. July 28th, Jessica stopped writing. Says she is busy. I do not believe her. He flipped to the last page. A photo tucked inside. It was Jessica, standing beside Brent, in front of the church. She was pregnant. And smiling. He stared at the photo for a long time, thumb pressed against the corner. This had never been a sudden betrayal. It had been a design. A blueprint of manipulation, disguised as marriage, masked with motherhood. He set the notebook down and whispered to the empty room. I was not her husband. I was her cover. Then he closed the case and turned out the light. From this point forward, there would be no doubt. No mercy. No grace. Only the truth. And whatever was left standing after it. Brent sat alone in the church basement, a single lamp casting shadows against the wall. The board had cut him off. The bank froze the ministry account. His assistant quit without warning. And the youth director sent a final text. Do not contact me again. You are not who you said you were. He had tried to call Jessica. No answer. He had tried to file a harassment report on Tyler. The police laughed. Said, looks like karma is already handling it. The motel scandal was public now. A local blog picked it up. Members of the congregation posted screenshots, videos, dates. Brent's wife had moved out, took the kids, changed her last name on Facebook within hours. And now, in the place where he once led prayers, Brent sat shaking with both hands pressed against his face. He had used faith to control people, used Tyler's absence to sleep with his wife, used Lily as a secret he thought would never surface. But Tyler was not just another bitter man. He was a soldier trained to wait, then strike. And Brent had never seen it coming. In front of him lay an envelope, slid under the door that morning. Inside, a copy of Lily's birth certificate with Brent's name scratched out in red, and one line typed underneath. You never were. And now, you never will be. Brent stared at it for hours. He tried to pray, but even God had stopped listening. Rain slid down the window as Lily sat at the kitchen table, slowly peeling the crust off her sandwich. She was quieter than usual, eyes darting to the front door every few minutes. Tyler watched from the sink, rinsing plates. He knew that silence. It was not shyness, it was confusion. Want to talk about it? He asked gently. Lily looked up. Will I go back to Mommy? Tyler dried his hands with a towel, took a seat across from her. Why do you ask? She shrugged, but her voice betrayed the weight behind her words. Because she says you only want me to hurt her back. His jaw tightened, but he stayed calm. And what do you think? Lily hesitated. You never yell. But Mommy cries a lot. He reached across the table, took her small hand in his. You are not here to hurt anyone. You are here because you are safe. With me. That is all that matters. She nodded slowly, then whispered. Sometimes she talks like you are the bad guy. I know, he said softly. That is how some people handle guilt. Lily chewed her lip. But I remember who taught me to ride a bike. Who stayed in the hospital that night. I was sick. He squeezed her hand gently. You remember what is true. Lily smiled faintly, like she was trying to be strong even if she did not fully understand. And in that moment, Tyler realized something. He had spent so long chasing justice, he almost forgot why he started. This was not just about exposing Jessica or destroying Brent. It was about Lily, and protecting the only thing that had ever made him feel whole. 2 weeks later, Tyler walked into court expecting another custody review hearing. What he got was something else. Jessica had filed a new motion requesting joint custody. Her lawyer came armed with rehabilitation progress, emotional wellness reports, and testimonials from coworkers. But the judge looked unmoved. Then Jessica stood, nervous, palms pressed together like she was praying. I want to speak directly, she said. The courtroom waited. She turned to Tyler, voice shaking. I want to confess something. Not for the court, for him. Tyler's eyes narrowed. Jessica took a breath. I lied about the DNA test. The entire room went still. She continued, Brent never took one. I assumed it was him because the timing. But I never actually confirmed it. I never wanted to. Miriam stood. Objection. We have the document. The one Tyler had tested was not Brent's. It was Lily's and his. I never tested Brent. Tyler stared at her. What are you saying? Jessica looked straight at him, tears rolling freely now. I do not know if Brent is the father. I do not know who is. And now, I think maybe it was never him at all. The room spun, not from anger, not from grief, from the crack in the truth. Tyler's breath caught. She never confirmed it. Years of damage, court filings, emotional wreckage, and now she says maybe? The judge looked rattled. This changes the weight of paternity arguments. Jessica nodded. I was scared. I thought it was easier to let Tyler go than face the truth. But I think I was wrong. Tyler stood slowly, and for the first time, his voice shook. You burned my life down because you were guessing? Jessica broke. I thought I was protecting us from a worse truth. Tyler looked at her, then at Lily, coloring beside a court aide. For the first time since this started, he did not know what to believe. Tyler sat alone in his truck after court, parked beneath the same oak tree where he once proposed to Jessica. The irony made him sick. He stared at the new test order in his hand, this time demanding a 3-way paternity test. Him, Brent, Lily. It was the only way to close the chaos. Miriam had tried to calm him. This could flip the entire case in your favor, or against you. Depends on how the judge interprets intent. But Tyler was not thinking about courtrooms. He was thinking about Lily. What if she really was his? What if he had walked away from her for nothing? He pictured every night he spent alone, every missed birthday, every tear she had cried over his cold silence. All because of a lie built on assumption. Jessica had destroyed his world not with proof, but with fear. The worst kind of betrayal. She had guessed. And now, everything was back on the table. He drove home slowly, headlights slicing through mist. Lily ran to greet him at the door, arms wide, messy ponytail bouncing. "Hi, Daddy." He scooped her up, held her close, longer than usual. Because now, holding her felt different. Not because she might not be his, but because she just might be. Tyler hated waiting. He had waited under sniper fire. Waited for helicopters and silence, so thick you could hear your own blood. But this wait, this test result, felt different. It felt like being stripped bare. He sat in his truck outside the clinic, the envelope on the passenger seat. Unopened, unbothered by the engine off, the heat inside, or the sweat beating down his spine. Across the street, families passed, fathers carrying daughters, kids laughing, unaware that for some people, the word family came with landmines. He glanced at the envelope again. 3 names. 1 truth. Lily. Brent. Tyler. He opened it. His eyes moved slowly. Paternity results subject 1. Brent Whitaker. 0% subject 2. Tyler Brooks. 99.97%. He gripped the wheel with both hands, his jaw locking. Lily was his. She had always been his. He blinked, jaw trembling, breath catching in his throat. Jessica had made him doubt, had ripped years away from him, had let him believe he was just a placeholder for someone else's blood. And all this time, she had been wrong. He was not the man who stayed when he did not have to. He was the father who never should have left. He folded the paper carefully. No tears, just fire building slow in his chest. This was no longer a revenge game. This was a resurrection. Jessica opened the door in sweatpants and a stained hoodie, her eyes tired and raw. She had not worn makeup in days. The mask had finally cracked. Tyler stood on her porch. He held out the envelope. She stared at it like it was ticking. He said nothing, just waited. With shaking hands, she opened it. Read the lines. Stumbled back a half step. "No." Tyler spoke, voice cold but even. "You were wrong. She is mine." Jessica looked up. I thought. You did not think. You decided." Her lip quivered. "Tyler, I was scared. I thought Brent was the father. I did not want to lose everything. I told myself it was safer to lie." He stepped forward. "You let me walk away from my daughter. You let me stop calling myself her father. You looked me in the face and told me she was someone else's. I made a mistake." "No. You made a choice." Jessica leaned against the doorframe, trying to steady her breathing. "What now?" He paused. "Now, I tell her the truth. All of it. And I make sure you never get another chance to destroy it." Her eyes welled. "You cannot keep her from me. I will not need to. She is going to see you for who you are." Jessica's breath caught. Tyler turned and walked away. This time, she did not chase him. Because for the first time, she knew she could not win. That night, Tyler sat on the couch, Lily curled up beside him with her head on his chest, a blanket wrapped around both of them. The fire crackled. Rain tapped against the windows. He took a deep breath. "Baby, can I tell you something?" Lily looked up. "Sure. There were some people who told me I was not your real dad." Her eyes widened. "Why?" she asked. "Because they were confused. Or afraid. Or maybe just wanted to hurt people." "Did you believe them?" "For a while I did." Lily's bottom lip trembled. "But I got a test. One that tells you about DNA, what you are made of." "And?" Tyler smiled. "It said you are mine. Every part of you." Lily blinked fast. "Really?" He nodded. "Really?" She hugged him tight, face buried in his shirt. "I knew it. I always knew it." He held her closer than he ever had before. And in that moment, for the first time in years, Tyler Brooks felt whole. No lies. No courtrooms. No war. Just truth. And the little girl who never stopped being his. Jessica sat at the kitchen table, staring at the photo of Lily taped to the fridge. Her face had thinned in recent days. Makeup could not cover the regret now. It had settled into her posture, into her voice, into the way she avoided mirrors. The doorbell rang. She opened it slowly. A woman stood with a clipboard. "Jessica Brooks?" "Yes." "You have been served." Again. This time, it was the final petition. Tyler had filed for full, permanent custody. No visitation. No contact. Jessica flipped through the papers in disbelief. Negligent misrepresentation. Intentional emotional harm. Custodial endangerment by deception. Her own lies were now stamped into legal terms. She picked up her phone and tried to call Brent. Disconnected. She searched him on social media. Nothing. Gone. Then she searched her own name. Blog posts. Comment threads. Teachers gossiping. Church parents speculating. Former students tagging her name under anonymous, cheater-exposed threads. Her world was not just collapsing. It had already crumbled. She was sitting in the ashes, still pretending she could breathe. But the truth? She had set the fire herself. Tyler received a thick envelope in the mail, no return address, postmarked from an out-of-state correctional facility. Inside was a letter. Brent's handwriting. Tyler recognized it immediately. He stood by the trash can, ready to toss it, then paused. Tyler, I owe you the truth. I do not know if I ever believed in anything I preached. Not really. But I believed Jessica loved me. She told me she did. She told me Lily was mine. I thought I won. Now I see I destroyed 2 lives. Yours and Lily's. For nothing. Tyler's jaw locked. He kept reading. She lied to me, too. I only wish I had the courage to walk away before I took everything from you. At the bottom, forgiveness is not mine to ask. But if there is a God, he knows I finally told the truth. Tyler folded the letter slowly and dropped it into the trash without another glance. It was too late for apologies. Brent had found his truth inside a concrete box. Tyler had found his in Lily's eyes. Only one of them got to keep it. The courtroom was full. Even the back row was packed with community faces. Jessica sat alone, her lawyer stiff beside her. The smile she used to fake was gone. She looked like a woman who had come to the end of something and still refused to admit it. Tyler entered with Lily's small hand in his. She wore a blue dress and carried a teddy bear he had given her at age 4. She did not let go of him once. The judge began. We are here today to finalize the custody hearing of minor Lily Brooks. Tyler's lawyer stood. Your Honor, the DNA test confirms biological paternity. The court has seen 7 years of documented parenting by Mr. Brooks. His home is stable. His income steady. His bond with the child, undeniable. Jessica's lawyer stood to argue, but was interrupted. I want to speak, Jessica said. The judge raised an eyebrow. Briefly, Jessica stood. I lied. I did not mean to destroy everything. But I did. I let fear make choices for me. And now I have to live with that. She turned toward Tyler. I will not fight anymore. The courtroom fell still. Tyler did not look at her. The judge cleared his throat. Final ruling. Full, permanent custody awarded to Mr. Tyler Brooks. No visitation granted at this time. Case closed. Lily squeezed Tyler's hand. Jessica sat back down slowly, eyes glazed. For once, she said nothing at all. That night, Tyler tucked Lily into bed. Her stuffed bear was beside her. Her hands folded across her chest like she had something serious to say. Daddy. Yeah, baby. Does Mommy hate me now? Tyler sat on the edge of her bed. No. She is just sad. But that has nothing to do with you. Lily nodded, but her eyes shimmered. He leaned in close. You are the best thing I have ever been part of. You are brave and smart and stronger than most adults I know. She smiled, half asleep. I love you. I love you more. He kissed her forehead and stood at the doorway, watching her drift off. In the hallway, he paused by a picture hanging on the wall. It was the 2 of them at the lake. Lily on his shoulders. Her laugh frozen in time. His face softer. Lighter. He touched the frame. The war was over. Not just the court battles. Not just the lies. The war inside him. He had won. And this time, it did not feel like revenge. It felt like peace. Jessica moved through the grocery store like a shadow. No eye contact. No makeup. Her hoodie pulled tight around her face. People still looked. Not with curiosity anymore, but pity. She had been a teacher. A pastor's lover. A mother. A respected neighbor. Now, she was a cautionary tale. As she paid for a box of cereal and a half-gallon of milk, The teenage cashier avoided her eyes. Jessica walked out into the cold with her brown paper bag and a silence so thick it wrapped around her like a second coat. Back at her apartment, a small, dim studio near the train tracks, she sat at the edge of the bed and opened her laptop. No new emails. No job offers. No messages from Lily. She clicked open an old video. Tyler holding Lily on her 3rd birthday. She had cake on her face. They both laughed. Jessica covered her mouth as the sob broke out of her chest. She had lost everything. But the worst part? She had done it to herself. Tyler stood in Lily's new bedroom, arms crossed as she hung paper stars from the ceiling. "This one is my favorite," she said, pointing to the biggest one. "It glows the most." He smiled. "That one is called Polaris, the North Star. Why is it important? Because sailors used to follow it when they were lost. It helped them find home." Lily paused. "Is that why you never gave up on me?" He looked at her, voice low. "You were my North Star the whole time." She grinned and reached for the tape. Across the hallway, Tyler walked into his office. On the wall was a photo he had refused to take down. Jessica holding Lily as a baby. Tyler beside them, hand on her back, pride in his eyes. He looked at it for a moment, then quietly took it down, not out of anger, but because that chapter was over. The truth had already replaced the lie, and he was finally ready to let it go. Brent stood in the prison chapel, surrounded by rows of empty chairs. The chaplain had asked him to deliver the morning message. He did not want to, but he said yes. Somewhere inside, he still wanted to matter. He opened a worn Bible, stared at the verses, and spoke aloud. "Let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil." His voice echoed off the concrete walls. No one clapped. No one listened. He closed the book and sat in the front row, head in his hands. He had lied to everyone. To his church. To Jessica. To himself. And now, even his God had gone quiet. Outside the narrow window, a guard walked past without looking in. Brent whispered to the empty room. "Tell the truth before the truth tells on you." It was too late for him, but he prayed it would not be for others. Saturday morning arrived with no alarms. Tyler made pancakes while Lily danced barefoot across the tile, singing a made-up song about syrup. The windows were open. The house smelled like cinnamon. Nothing was broken. Nothing was waiting to explode. After breakfast, they went to the park. Tyler watched her climb the jungle gym and laugh with kids from school. A woman sitting nearby turned to him. "She is yours?" she asked. Tyler smiled without hesitation. "She is." The woman smiled back. "You can tell. She looks at you like you hung the stars." He nodded. "She is the reason I found my way out." Back home, Lily fell asleep on the couch, cartoons still playing. Tyler pulled a blanket over her and sat beside her. For the first time in years, the silence in his home felt peaceful, not empty. This was not revenge. This was recovery, and he had earned every second of it. Jessica sat in front of a blank email draft. To Tyler Brooks subject. Just one thing. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She typed, "I do not expect you to forgive me. I do not think I could forgive me either. But I wanted to tell you one thing that still matters to me. You were always the better man. Even when I made you doubt yourself, you never became cruel. You never hit back. You just walked through the fire quietly and let the truth speak." She paused, deleted that line, typed again. "I still dream about her calling me mommy. But I know now that dreams are not enough to keep something you broke yourself." She hit save as draft. She stared at it for a full minute, then deleted the message. It would not change anything. And maybe silence was the only apology left that still meant something. 2 weeks later, Tyler sat in the county courthouse again. This time, there was no courtroom, no tension, just a private office and a form with 4 empty lines waiting to be filled. Adoption finalization, name of guardian. He signed it. Tyler Benjamin Brooks, new legal father of minor. Lily Grace Brooks. The clerk smiled. "Congratulations. It is official now. She is yours, in every way." Tyler exhaled, his chest rising with something he had not felt in years. Relief. Pure, undiluted, real. He stepped outside into the warm afternoon light, paper in hand. Lily was waiting on the steps, swinging her legs. All done. All done. She jumped up and hugged him. Does this mean no more court? He laughed. No more court. Ever. She grinned. Good. Can we get ice cream now? Double scoop. She grabbed his hand and pulled him toward the car. In his jacket pocket, the adoption paper crinkled slightly. But he did not need the paper to know what he was anymore. He was her father, and no one could take that away again. Jessica stood outside Tyler's new home. She held a small box, photos, drawings, one of Lily's baby blankets, things she had found while cleaning out her old apartment. She looked older now, tired, but sober in a way she had not been in years, not from alcohol, but from denial. She knocked twice. No answer. She waited. Birds chirped. A dog barked in the distance. Still no answer. She placed the box down gently, tucked a short note inside. These belong with her. I know that now. Then she turned and walked away, slow and silent, her shoulders lower than ever. Inside, Tyler had watched the whole thing through the curtains. He did not move. He just stood there and let her walk. Because some closures do not need doors opened. They just need to stay closed. It was a cool night. Stars spread wide above them. Tyler and Lily sat around a small campfire in the woods near the lake, just the two of them. She roasted a marshmallow on a stick. Eyes wide as flames danced in the reflection. Daddy, yeah. Are you ever going to get married again? He smirked. Why, you trying to pick my next wife? She giggled. No, I just wonder. He thought about it, then shrugged. I had a wife once. She taught me everything I needed to know about what not to settle for. Lily nodded slowly. I think we are enough. He smiled. Yeah, we are. He reached into his pocket and handed her something small. A compass. It was scratched and old, faded from use. Military issued. What is this? My first field compass. It helped me get out of some bad places. Thought it should go to someone strong now. Lily held it carefully. What if I get lost? Then you look for the stars, Tyler said softly, pointing up. They never lie. She leaned against him, warm and safe under the stars. And for once, the world felt exactly the way it should be. The apartment was silent except for the ticking clock above the stove. Jessica stood in front of the mirror, brushing her hair with slow, mechanical movements. The mirror reflected more than just age. It reflected consequences. She stared at herself, noticing everything. The bags under her eyes, the faded color in her skin, the weight of too many choices carved into her face. She whispered to the glass. You could have stopped. No answer. Just her own tired breath fogging the mirror. You had a man who would have died for you. A daughter who needed you. And you lied. She gripped the sink. Are you proud? The mirror stayed silent. She opened a drawer, pulled out an old bracelet. The one Tyler gave her the day Lily was born. It had one word engraved inside. Us. She held it tightly for a moment, then dropped it into the trash. There was no us anymore. There was only her. Alone. With the truth. And the reflection she would never be able to lie to again. 2 days later, Lily came home from school with paint on her hands and a drawing in her backpack. She ran into the house, calling, Daddy, come see what I made. Tyler dried his hands on a towel and met her in the hallway. She held up a sketch. It was a star. Inside the star, the word North. He smiled. That looks amazing. I want it forever, she said, serious now. Like a tattoo. Tyler raised an eyebrow. You are 8. I know. But when I am older, I want it. On my wrist. So I always remember. He crouched down. Remember what? She looked at him, soft but certain. That you found me, even when everything was lost. His chest tightened. He kissed the top of her head. Then I will get one too. Same place. Same star. Lily's face lit up like the night sky. It was not ink yet. But the promise? That was permanent. One Sunday afternoon, Tyler's sister invited them over for lunch. Lily played in the backyard with her cousins. Tyler stood at the kitchen window, sipping iced tea, watching her laugh. His sister, Laura, stepped beside him. She is different now. Lighter. She does not carry the confusion anymore, Tyler said. That weight is gone. Laura leaned on the counter. And you? Do you feel lighter? He thought about it. There is still heaviness, but it is not from her. It is from remembering how close I came to giving her up. Laura nodded. You never will again. No, he said, voice steady. Never. They ate lunch in the sunroom. Tyler, Laura, her husband, the kids. No one mentioned Jessica. No one needed to. The family had healed. Quietly. Without ceremony. And sometimes, that was the loudest kind of peace. Tyler sat at his desk that night, a new frame in front of him. Inside was not a photo. It was Lily's drawing of the star, with the word North scribbled in purple crayon underneath. He placed it on the shelf. Beside it was the last unopened envelope from court. Final confirmation of adoption. Filed. Complete. Permanent. He picked it up, then set it down again. The photo of him and Jessica, once framed in the hallway, was now gone, replaced by a simple line drawing done by a child who had more wisdom in her than most adults he had known. This house was not haunted anymore. No ghosts. No fake smiles. Just real life. Real laughter. Real love. Tyler leaned back in the chair, letting the quiet settle around him. No frame could hold everything they had been through. But this one, this drawing, held everything that mattered. The lake was still. It was the same place Tyler once stood with an unopened DNA envelope in his hand, unsure of everything. Now it was different. He and Lily walked along the shore, skipping stones. She wore a navy hoodie 3 sizes too big and boots that kept sinking in the mud, but she loved it. Daddy, remember when I could not even throw one of these? You were throwing them backward. She laughed and flung another. This one skipped twice before sinking. Better, he nodded. She took a deep breath. Can I tell you something? Always. I had a dream where I was back at Mommy's old house, and everything felt cold. I could not find my backpack. I was crying. But then you knocked on the door, and you said, I am still here. And I woke up. Tyler swallowed hard. I will always knock on that door, he said. They sat near the fire pit, where the ashes of fake memories had once burned. Tyler pulled something from his jacket. 2 small leather bracelets. One for him, one for her. Each had the same metal tag on it. North. He tied hers around her wrist. She smiled. Now I cannot get lost, right? He looked at her, his daughter, his girl, his truth. Not anymore. As the sun dipped behind the trees, they stood together, watching the lake go still again. But this time, it was not empty. It was full of every reason he kept fighting. Months later, Tyler stood in front of his class at the community center. Fathers, young men, even a few veterans sitting in metal chairs. He held a photo of Lily's first day at her new school. She does not know it, he said, but she is the reason I am alive. A man in the back raised a hand. How did you get through all of it? Tyler took a breath. I stopped fighting to punish people. I started fighting to protect what mattered. The truth. Her. Myself. Later that night, Tyler drove home. Lily was asleep on the couch, the compass still in her hand. He sat beside her and whispered, This is the life we built. Out of ashes. Out of lies. Out of pain. He looked at the stars outside the window. For the first time in years, he did not feel like a man getting revenge. He felt like a father who finished the mission. And now, he finally got to rest. And now let me ask you something real. What would you have done if you were in Tyler's place? Comment below. I am genuinely curious where you are watching from. And hey, if you felt even one real moment during this story, hit like, subscribe, not just for support, but so you do not miss the next epic, emotional, and thrilling revenge story coming soon. Until then, take care of yourself. We will meet again in the next chapter.